We are live. Excellent. Thank you for the wait. Look at that. I've got a packed chat room. They love it. They love it. What's going on, guys?
Where are we live at?
All right. Hey, what's going on, Corey, Alicia?
Hey, brother. Where are we live at?
We should be live on my YouTube channel, Zerilath Eternal.
Roger that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pull it so I can read the chat as we're going along.
Yeah. I
can feel all the love and all the hate.
Yeah. It might have gone live like thrice or something because I couldn't turn off the live. Riverside's weird, but it's also the one that I like the best. So, make sure you're in the one titled for the Phoenix Enigma and not the other ones that it may be streaming simultaneously on YouTube that I'll have to freaking deal with later. Anyway, how's it going, guys? So, I have been hearing things. When the Epstein files, the new files came out, it was just like I heard that Isaac Kappy had some was right about a whole bunch of things that people have discovered in the files so far. So I've only had so much time to peruse through the files as well as to refresh my Isaac Kappy in a very little period of time when work had just started for me again. So I'm working full time for a little bit right now again, and so I haven't had the time in the evenings to sit down. I have to listen to things in my ear while I work, and that's how I absorb 99% of my information on a weekday.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat here. See who's in the chat here.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully the stream helps
everybody.
Good because it's doing the multiple thing. I'm gonna have to fix that. All right. So if you guys don't know the Phoenix Enigma, thephoenixenigma.com, they've always had their web page. So no matter what's happened, Corey and Alicia and their show used to have like a full blown like professional podcast channel of a variety of things, including news and politics and conspiracies, as well as there used to be a lot of conversations that weren't in that wheelhouse until we realized that America was under internal attack and
conspiracies which have all come true, by the way.
Yes, everything has come true. Well, I've actually seen the joke, flat earthers watching every conspiracy come true except for flat earth.
Their day will come.
Their day will come or something. Right. I mean, I used to be a flat earther, and I'll never insult them unless it's an insulting flat earther. Right? There's cool flat earthers, and then there's the insufferable ones. Right?
Well,
those are the ones that do themselves a disservice in figuring out what our realm is and how it actually works.
So to just touch on that, just to add a little bit of something to that real quick. When Alicia and I were down in Phoenix back in 2019, during the Stop the Steal rallies in 2020, with Jake Chansley, that's the Q shaman with the horns.
Yep.
We were down there working with him and Karen Woods with the Republican RNC, trying to organize the Stop the Steals, but we were undercut. In any case, every major event that took place at the Capitol, the flat earthers would show up, and they would have a big, huge thing. They were funded by somebody, and they were just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous people. And their job was to make everything look like a conspiracy, everything look like just clown world.
Yeah.
And they did the job. And because when News Channel 3 or 10 or 12 or 15 or 5 show up to cover the Stop the Steal rally, these loud, morons over there acting like a bunch of jackasses are going on about the flat earth. And, if you believe in flat earth, great, good for you. But when you're trying to stop stolen elections, that's not the place for it. And they were most certainly. I have a feeling, man. Just to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that U.S. intelligence agencies have completely infiltrated that. If not, didn't start the latest flat earther group just to be just to be those guys to turn everything into a clown world, just to delegitimize everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's that, it's like you sit there you talk about like anything, and then I mean like flat Earth. I mean, there's legitimate, it's just like, oh my God, there's a secret space program, something like that we know is real. Like it's like we're talking about election fraud right now. It's like that's a different level of conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, that has a lot to do with, people can't like. There's a lot of people that are just throwing all the mud at the wall, right? I mean, like I have covered a bazillion topics, with my pedigree going back to 2012, doing the Revolution Radio thing. But back in 2012, we lived in a completely different world. That world doesn't exist anymore. No more
Right.
than the world before 9/11 exists anymore. Right? And that changes the dynamics of the conversation, as things move along. And certain things are not going to be either serious or matter, right? Like, like I bring up the idea, oh yeah, the secret space program, right? Which it's absurd to insert that conversation into something else, but that also has a point to it. Like talking about government conspiracies and, oh man, they're covering up the flat Earth. It's like, all right, that's the least harmful conspiracy theory in the government right now is the shape of the planet and and all that shit, right? Because just no, just there's nothing there to be concerned about the discussion of the shape of our realm in the political sphere. Wait till other things happen. Wait till something weird happens and everybody acknowledges that NASA's lied again, and they lied again about something big that really hurt. Like it hurt the wallet, or it hurt national security, or whatever, like nobody understands those kinds of things
No.
to muddy the water, right? And downwind of that is the absurdities of how people frame important arguments, like the way people have framed the Isaac Kappy thing. The most convenient of which we were talking about is the whole issue of people not understanding that Isaac Kappy was, he was willing to destroy himself. He was trying to turn himself in. It was all. It's just like he wasn't doing this because he wanted like even sympathy from anybody. He wanted to do the right thing, because he did. He was an accessory to the most awful of things possibly happening.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot about the Isaac Kappy situation, investigation, time period that is 100% completely misunderstood, fictionalized. A lot of the misinformation, disinformation, control narratives actually took root. And when you go into, I would say about 90% of the online Isaac Kappy material, especially on YouTube, you're going to get just regurgitated garbage. Garbage about shit that came out from Thomas Schoenberger, shit that came out from the detractors, just false narratives. Hell, even you're going to find tons of stuff that I killed Isaac Kappy and Alicia honeypotted and killed Isaac Kappy, and Kelly Giannini, who is Shark Belly Kelly, for those of you who were there, killed Isaac Kappy, and Geo Harris killed Isaac Kappy, and Gabe Hoffman killed Isaac Kappy, and who else? Ella High Priest killed Isaac Kappy.
Everybody but him.
Right.
And everybody but him.
It's
right?
like
And
everybody
it's
killed
just
Isaac
muddied.
Kappy, and everybody's in the Epstein files. That's reality, apparently.
And this is a tactic that was used, was first implemented, and I can't remember where I found it, but it was in some official government papers from the CIA, and they basically said, after the JFK assassination, we knew because people had phones, or not phones, people had cameras, video cameras and cameras, and it was the 60s, so, people were coming up, we forget, guys, if you're like, what, I'm 50 this year, Alicia's about, what, 29?
That's right.
If you're from an older Alicia wouldn't know, but if you're from an older generation, and you grew up in the 70s, you know, like I listened to the radio going to bed, right? Well, there were radio programs. That was the big thing when I was a kid. You know, Nintendo 64 had just come out, the Intellivision before that. But people were just getting cameras when JFK was shot. So you had evidence, and people were speaking, and people were interacting with the media at that time, and it was a whole new era. And the CIA said, we can no longer control the narrative through the mainstream, bought out, you know, fifth pillar propaganda apparatus that we've had for the last, well, since TV was invented.
It was
so they
revealed
had to
years
have
ago.
new methods, and disinformation was their primary methodology for dealing with narrative control. And I believe he said, listen, one true thing happened with JFK here. The truth happened, but you're going to know 90 to 100 to 200 different theories because we put them all out there. And the same thing happened with Epstein and Isaac Kappy and everyone else in between.
Yeah. I had there was a truth revealed in the storyline in a video game. It was one of the early Metal Gear Solid games, which was in that soft disclosure category, as well as a lot of interesting global political philosophical thought. And the colonel that on the comms, it's always talking to Snake, the main character.
Yeah.
Or it was either Snake or it was in the second one, and he's talking to the Japanese Raiden character. He's just like, because of the internet and all the information, military intelligence has and the NSA have switched from content control to context control.
Oh, there you go.
So all of it's out there, but with the flood of everything, with Photoshoppers, now AI, with punks like Schoenberger, and you know anybody else who's out there to muddy the waters of a thing, right? You know the way you know like you know these things can cause the flip sides. Everybody was just like, oh, WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, yeah, and Trump was all for that. And then there was this weird point somewhere in 45 where he was asked again about Assange, and he completely dismissed and distanced himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, these are wild things. I heard there's some WikiLeaks-oriented stuff that's in the Epstein files as well. I can't remember to what degree. I just found out that, you know, Steve Bannon was not only super tight with Epstein, but one of the emails was alluding that he was accustomed to going to the island, as it's referred to in the email, to film. So
film what person?
To film what happens on the island. I'm saying that some of this footage that we're getting, that might have been Bannon behind the camera of some of this awful shit that we're getting hints of.
So I haven't heard a whole lot about Bannon yet. Was he acting in the capacity of like a shit, my God. Who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
As a Dr. Gonzo?
Yes, Dr. Gonzo there.
I
Hunter.
don't know.
Hunter Thompson.
I'm literally telling you about, I think I actually screenshotted this one to save on my phone, so I need a minute to just scroll
while you're looking for that.
For the Bannon one.
Hunter S. Thompson was accused or rumored to have been taking photographs and film of snuff films for the elite. And I tend to believe that because he was a sick motherfucker. He was disgusting. There was another guy that came clean about all that stuff during the Nebraska kids Boys Town thing under the Reagan administration. That took place as well. So they were employing people to film things. Was Bannon operating in that capacity, or was it more of an undercover, like, I'm a good guy, but I'm going to film this and put it out one day kind of a thing?
No. He was like talking to him. It was just like, hey, listen, I'm in Rome. You know, are you like, he literally was emailing Jeff to come pick him up with his fucking plane. Right?
All right.
Like this was like a situation. He was in Rome, and then he's talking about the island and can we go and want to go film on the island for whatever the heck's going on over there. Here, all right, let me take a second because I guess I didn't save this one. Anybody who watches my Epstein files thing that I did last night for 3+ hours, it's in the midst of that. Because I would do a word search and then each section of that live stream was like me going through the word search result. Let me see. Was this the one? All right. Okay, I want to. Okay, busy. Is this the same one? Huge, warped Pakistan. No. You know what? For shits and giggles, though. All right, so there's where are you? This is allegedly Jeff's text messages, and he's Richmond with my dad. Kurz wants to meet you. I want to meet him. He said he has been busy with the EU, ready to meet. And then Bannon's like, great. Epstein, Bannon, Kurz. A little too close to Bronstein Goebbels. Oh shit, he mentioned Goebbels randomly. And then after he says Goebbels, he fucking does a follow-up with a smiley fucking face. A blushing smiley face. And Bannon's just like, way too close. Then he says something about Ken Starr in New York, 11-12 in Brussels, London, K, if you want to do Kurz. No, these guys are buddies. These guys are total buddies. Right?
Okay.
Like, this is not the one that we're talking about, but this is just the one that I picked, just popped up, just to read to you real quick, that I missed. He's talking, Epstein's talking about Starr talking to Cruz and Cotton for Kavanaugh. So he's in the background.
Justice Kavanaugh?
Yeah, he's in the background talking to Bannon about getting Kavanaugh on the fucking Supreme Court. This motherfucker right here. I've been called many things. Human is not one of them. That's Jeff's quote.
Ooh.
He's not been called. He's a monster. He's a vampire in reality, a cannibalistic vampire from Ball Lilith. That's what I know that he fucking is. I was getting too soft. Women are bad for the knees. Oh, you're on your knees for women, Stevie? What does that mean, Steve-O? NATO private, lunch if you like, if you go. Yeah, so these guys are fuckers. These guys are complete fuckers. Dutch TV League, Pakistani Prime Minister. Yeah, okay. So anyway, those are some of the emails. Yeah, that's, so, the people... The people that are calling Trump potential pedophile, or you could possibly say, at the very least, a hebephile, which is equally awful, but more.
He is a hebephile. He's not a pedophile. He's a hebephile. That's going to be my correction here in a little bit, but you beat me to it. And then there's another distinction. What's the other one? Pedophile, hebephile, and what's the other one?
I don't know the other one.
I try not to keep track of this.
Right? Yeah, it's all pretty god fucking awful.
Yeah, well, the problem with telling people the difference between pedophile and hebephile and all that stuff is while you're explaining it, you sound like a pedophile, right? Because it's like you're defending it. You're not defending it, but there are legal and clinical definitions for these things. And I think as content creators and producers on the internet, people who engage in forums like this, we need to be very precise about the language we use, because not only is it not accurate, the cornerstone to an intellectual conversation is mutually agreed upon vocabulary, and we have that under puberty, right? And then you have those going through puberty, and then you have the puberty to 18, and that is a something. What is the other one? No, I forgot. It's killing me now. Hebephile. There's another one anyway. And he was a hebephile. He liked girls between the ages of 12 and, right there at the puberty age. ephub,
A phebophile?
a phebophile. Okay, so pedophile is under 11. Honey, say again.
A phebophile.
A phebophile is 15 to 19, and a hebophile is 12 to 14. So he was a hebophile. And to be perfectly, I mean, if you go talk to clinicians, they will tell you, because the meaning of pedophile in today's, like the word literally has now changed. Like literally doesn't mean literally anymore. It means like exclamation point,
Actually.
right? Actually. Pedophile is somebody who is attracted, sexually attracted to somebody of that age range. It has nothing to do with the actual act of rape, because you can't have consensual sex with a child. It's always rape. So it doesn't, it's the act of having sex with that child is a violent crime. The act of being attracted to them is the pedophile, the hebophile, etc.
Right. It's,
Right,
you know,
so-
I think they're in a consenting relationship as such. You
Sure.
know, that becomes, you know, that's we call that statutory rape, right? You know,
Coercion,
you know, it's theoretically like a romantic
grooming,
sexual relationship.
coercion.
She's not old enough to have her own agency.
Is how
Yeah.
we should talk about that.
So it's all bad, it's all wrong, and the reason why these children are being used is because it is the other day I was out on the farm working, just thinking while I work, and any other action that you can think of can be defended in court, can be justified in a certain culture at a certain time. However, the one thing that is never okay in any race, in any culture, throughout any time, is the violation of children, because surpasses law. That is natural law. You don't do that. You don't do that. And everyone understands this. And that's why that is the tool that is used within the intelligence agencies for the honeypots and the forced coercions. So, you know, and it's just looks like the government's ignoring it. Trump's ignoring it. Did you hear Julian Dory today or yesterday? I think he came on earlier today, actually. He talked quite a bit about Musk being in the files as well. It looked like that Jeffrey Epstein was attempting to rope Musk into back in 2002. There is a whole from Elon to Jeffrey and Jeffrey to Elon, and Elon never bid on that bait. Apparently, from what it looks like. But it looked like he was trying to get Elon under his thumb for the U.S. intelligence agencies, because why? Well, Elon owns rocket ships, and he's into Starlink. And if you go back in the day, what did Barr have Musk doing over at Harvard? He was in the mathematics department trying to capture and honeypot physics teachers, because everyone knows in higher education, especially your sciences and try and get people under the thumb that way to get leverage on them. And that was Jeffrey's primary job.
Yeah. Do you see this right here? It's somewhere in this text. I have to go. He's texting him while he's in France. Macron government. Steve Bannon's asking is like, yep, the ministers of the elite. Then he posts this picture at the Louvre with whoever the fuck this Frenchman is. Whoever this guy is, allegedly, he runs France on behalf of the French government. Or he's part of the team that does that. So, you know, this is one of the guys on his level. Yeah, see that? Just Us 2, entire place. So, like, straight up, this place, they closed this place so Epstein and this guy could meet at the Louvre, is what he's saying in the text.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's daytime, right? Like, the Louvre's open every day, right?
I don't know. I would assume so.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this text here is, yeah, so I still like the wand idea. I think he meant to say Voldemort. I thought of buying you a black wizard hat with stars. In other words, the Phrygian cap, which he texts him, and then laugh my ass off by Bannon. Right. This is all while they're are making this flight arrangement. He's talking about some CNNBC piece that he's dealing with, right? Something. I don't know who the League is over here. See, that's where he was in Rome. Okay, wasn't this one? I could have sworn this is the one where he said, I want to film on the island. It must have been a different one. But that one is also kind of a favorite, because here's Bannon joking about the fact that this guy is Cult of Baal, right? Shadows. Excuse me. Either way, I mean, the email could be, for all we know, he's talking about the Virgin Islands, you know, but like contextually speaking, with all of that, it's not the Virgin Islands. It's talking about Little St. James. It has to be. That, you know, I can use deductive reasoning. Yeah, yeah. So also, while I'm here, if any other names you can remember that were part of the Kappy claims, let me look them up in real time while we're talking.
Okay, so just so everyone's on the same page, and I don't know if you know this as well, I'll let Alicia tell you the story when it comes to the
Brackets and jackets.
brackets and jackets videos. Honey, what was Isaac doing, and what was that about for the names he threw out? Can you explain what he was singing, how he was singing it, and the names he used and where they came from?
So the first one he did, he came out and he had a few names that he started with, but while he was going, his audience was dropping names in the chat, and it was 100% spontaneous freestyle. A lot of it was.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't a thing he sat down and wrote all the way through. And in fact, in the second one, already did somebody in the first one, and he looked through the chat for another name. But they were dropping the names for him fast enough to keep him going. So that's what was happening.
Right. Yeah, no. The brackets and jackets is a very cool flow state that he did.
Yeah.
Very effective. He doesn't sing off keys, and he's an okay singer. It's just like everybody has talked about it. Everybody, Phoenix Enigma fans, you know, they all love and miss Isaac on all those levels. I never noticed him in the films that I've seen that he happens to be in. The Terminator movie. I looked at all the Weinstein
Terminator 3.
stuff. I looked at all the Weinstein stuff, and there may have been a few movies on the level investment side that Jeff was doing, like with some of these movie companies, like, because I thought I saw one of the Terminator films on there, and Isaac was in one of the Terminator films, right?
3.
He was in Terminator 3. I can't remember if it was 3, but it was definitely at least 3, because we all know that after 2, Terminator became just a Hollywood brand, as opposed to like actual fucking cinematic theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like this search function on the Epstein file. I haven't dug into the Epstein files yet.
Right.
There's a lot I will be looking into, though.
Oh yeah. It's been a lot of fun. It's wild, the little effing things that make you say, "What the hell is all this about?" Right? You know, like here. If I go back to screen share for you, and let's look at what is this 74? This one. Right. This is what I was talking. Massage parlors. I assume, because here's what we get, because there is a lot of redacted in this, but it says massage therapists and chiropractors right here. So maybe that's not all of it, but that's some of it. And now when you think about how long he's been doing this, And you're like, where's he trafficking women from? Well, the massage parlors, everybody knows about sex trafficking in massage parlors. But all of that has never been SRA shit. It's always just been, and once in a while somebody gets rapey and it causes a greater problem because it's an off the books transaction that there's an incident with, right? But otherwise, and by the way, Norwalk's an important town in my area for my commerce. So Norwalk and New Canaan, that's my backyard. Harvey Weinstein's mansion was in Greenwich, where I live. I talked about that yesterday when I came across the email of somebody letting Jeff know what Harvey's situation is. This was just before he got arrested, when he was going to therapy and selling his mansion.
Huh.
Look at that. New York, so much New York. But then here, Afir, Morocco. So when I see the Moors, I light up with Moorish occult history. City Slimane, Rabat, looks like it says 5D. I don't think, whatever that is.
Go back. No, that means something. Go back. Rabbit
Right.
5D Morocco.
Yeah, Rabat.
So 5D, if you allow me to share my my screen with you, can we do that?
Yeah, let me unshare on my end. And then, does it allow you to screen share? I'll figure out how to give you the.
I'm
the
hitting buttons here. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Can you see it, everybody? Can you hear me still?
All right, the box. Oh, there it is. Yes.
Okay, so right here, 5D Earth Belief. 5D Earth Belief. Isaac Kappy was 5D Earth Belief. 5D Earth Belief. Isaac Kappy was into that. And it was, if you look into 5D Earth Belief, and there's still people on the internet getting into it, it's kind of a brand. My theory is, and I Q operation happened, okay? And I think if you follow my channel, you know who started Q, who proliferated Q, who was involved with Q. I'm not getting into all that right now, but I know who started Q and who did Q, and what that was about. When they started going against the Q narrative and tried to roll it into. And who's that guy? Slusher. Hold on, I know I got his name in my little internet book of fucking bad guys here. I got a little book of all the bad people that I know on the internet and who they are. Gene Casensi, also known as Gene Decode. Also known as the conspiracy bullshit artist, right, out of Colorado. Real name is Gene Christopher Slusser. Gene Christopher Slusser jumped on that bandwagon. He's been pumping disinformation into the conspiracy world for years. He's on Rick Blessed to Teach. Back in the day, I called them both out on all the crap they were trying to pump into the our ecosystem on the internet, and he was huge into the 5D Earth belief. And it was just like this consciousness meditation thing. If you can change your internal tuning of the consciousness, you will see the real sun come up before the actual sun comes up. And you will be ahead of everyone else in this world, witnessing the real world take place as opposed to the illusion. And that's how you know you're in the 5D realm of Earth belief system. And they get together, they go to symposiums, they go to Hawaii and these fancy resorts, and they milk everyone for their money. Milk, I say milk, I meant bilk. Bilk everyone for their money. And Isaac was starting to get involved with that. He also got involved with a group of people who I tracked down. I'm not going to get into the names because this whole thing fucking went underground, but this is crazy, dude. He was involved in a situation. His team was experienced remote viewers who had worked for government agencies and were trained by real remote viewing government operatives. And he had them get together on the channel, and he would give targets. Tonight, you're going after so-and-so. You go after so-and-so. Get into their dream, find out what they're doing. They did targeted by this group of people. And when I looked into the guy, he was a real shady fucker. he vanished. He disappeared. Like he's gone. I can't find him to this fucking day.
Yeah, I think remote viewing done by dark sorcerers, you can be under psychic attack with with a properly disciplined psychic who knows how to use black magic or but possibly even just aspects of just regular battle magic, which doesn't have to necessarily be black, but just gives you certain amounts of power. Which that's my interest. But yeah, no, the 5D thing, I'm very intimately familiar doing my Time Revolution radio.
Okay.
And everything. Like I can understand why Isaac was, for the same reason why I got into the magic and the occultism, is because as I saw what the 5D narrative was and what it had to offer, I said to myself, there's something about 5D, but they're driving it in a direction that's just not going to accomplish anything but give your mind the perfect escape, which was just there for spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like everything else. They take the natural that we all have license and agency for as, living human beings, and they repackage it and they remold it and they remarket it and then they twist it. They twist it and make it ugly and dark, and they say this is what it is, and it's not what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what they did with the 5D.
Yeah. And as I understand it, and I just typed psychic in the Epstein files, is that Jeff was into some of this stuff. There's emails that mention some off-world thing. Of course, we all know about the genetics. If you guys don't know about Terramar, with which was Ghislaine's bag, where she had a literal James Bond super submarine spy base flag. It's registered.
Do you know why?
Yeah. So they
she
can
was
have their own laws.
No. It's deeper than that. And I need to rehear this. She is very, very, very interested in Atlantis. And she believed they knew where Atlantis was. She was working with somebody, a group of people at the higher end of government contractors or government affiliated people, scientists. They were going for technology. The same reason Jeffrey Epstein was involved in physics departments. The same reason they were trying to, the same reason they were doing eugenics programs. He was huge into that.
I just found this while looking for psychics. It's redact. We don't know who it's from, but it's to Jeff. It's funny. Yesterday I saw a psychic. She told me things about you as well without knowing who you are. Il Giorno Mare, 1st February 2017, alla 11:34. I don't know if that's code or something. What is this manipulation game you are playing? So I promise to call you at the end of the month. Good luck. And then the disclaimer at the bottom. So that's kind of more silly sociable, but if she saw a half decent psychic, then I find that hysterical. Like psychics running a game on Jeff by accident.
Yeah, no, it's Canada, New Zealand, and Australia will become second fiddles in this world, and we will be controlled by China, Russia, and Iran predominantly, and they will suck up the Pacific Island nation economies, Indonesia, and all that as well, and it'll be a bad century for European-based cultures and civilizations. That's what's at stake right now. That's the true battle. And everything Epstein was doing was to maintain control of this situation so we could continue. But it got too top heavy. It got a lot of bad people got involved in it. What do you think about Trump? Like, Trump's at the center of this, obviously. What do you think Trump's involvement is in this? What do you think his position is? And what do you think his plan is there?
Well, what I have noticed is that we're living in a lot of paradoxical situations. all sorts of paradoxical situations, and it's entirely possible. Man, it's entirely possible that that like how much like how we validated that all of the pictures of Trump with things are real and are contextually about to be as bad as they are, because I there's so many things I've poked at a lot that looks pretty incriminating, a lot of issues, but like it seemed to be understood that that Jeff, like, I guess he didn't like Trump but was still going to work. Like, I think Trump somehow was able to flip the script, and should be thrown in a wood chipper if he is. He might be a man who has decided to kind of, like, Jeff has got all this media shit going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the media could have torn down the nation a different way if it really wanted to. Like, they could have played the game very differently to isolate, like, people like us. Like, look at where consciousness is in this country now. Like, we're in shambles and the top is fucking stupid as hell. But you look at what's rising amongst us, and very interested in sustaining and growing out of this, at the very least, defending ourselves and fighting back from whatever could happen. And all of our efforts to be in a better place are not being inhibited by Trump. I mean, you can make all sorts of policy arguments that he's trying to do these things, and don't get me started on how he is handling the Minnesota situation, because, you know, fuck Trump for how he's doing that, because he should go after the government of Minnesota before he starts going after people on the streets without the government's support. In a 10th Amendment nation, like, I'm sorry, didn't Don say the nation state is the way to go? Well, here's a state in our nation. So stop insulting these values that are as American as fuck. Right? All right. Yeah. So the side of me that is guided by where Libra sits in my chart sits in this judge's seat, and I'm looking, and I'm looking at the duality of the situation, the reality in which Trump is trying to do the right thing, and the reality in which Trump is helping him obstruct justice. You understand? Because the Democrats are acting like Trump is obstructing justice. And then I'm listening to Kash Patel, and he's making the point that, like, I released everything that your Congress can possibly allow me to release, because anything else would be breaking the law, is what Kash's response to the Democrats grilling him, right? He's like, none of you guys have come to the Republicans in Congress to fucking go over and redact less and put out more of the files in an expedient manner. So my hands are tied by the law, is Kash's argument.
Almost like they're using the Democrat Republican back and forth as the excuse to do nothing.
The Democrats have a strange way they want to frame this, right? And there's only two things that I think the Democrats are trying to run in their narrative about this, and that is, Trump's a rapist, and that's all you really need, because then that dismisses being accountable for all of their fraud, corruption, conspiracies, criminalities of themselves. And also because Jeffrey Epstein was doing at least financial business with Russia, beat the war drum. And everybody knows that when they have a full national scale war between direct superpowers, it's a history eraser that's predetermined. And what that means is that traitors within the United States will get away with letting down our defenses, so that way Putin can blow up some fucking history in America before we go back and fight, and maybe we win, maybe we lose, but then we blow up some history in Russia, perhaps. And then once we're all done blowing up history and the people that remembered history, we finish the reset off. We've already killed half the fucking population. China's falling off like a rock. Malls are empty in America. It'll take us time, and hopefully we're not entirely crippled. And I'll be of no use, because if there's ever a draft, I'm going to be like, fuck you. So I'm not the soldier, despite even though I might actually be physically fit enough to be a Marine or something by that point. But my point is that I'm not contributing to any of this bullshit, even if the government was good, because I'm an anarchist, a real one. But yeah, so that you know, in the best case scenario, he's building an entrapment by pretending he's getting himself entrapped by deliberately looking guilty, even though the evidence doesn't make him guilty enough. Right? Because I don't understand, like, why we're getting what we're getting, right? Considering the world we were just living in not too long ago, where let's just give everybody pages and pages of black ink. I just showed you some of this shit. This is you know, so we're getting a whole lot. We are getting a whole lot. I can't deny that. I can't deny it to the point where I'll even give, not QAnon, because Epstein may be QAnon, because Epstein seems to be 4chan, but I will give people that went and became their own.
Well, Jim Watkins is 4chan, right? I mean, who was Wheels?
Let me double.
Started 4chan, I believe, was Wheels. He was the little, honey, what disease did that little midget have? The little guy in the wheelchair.
Wheels?
You know what I'm talking about? It's something Brennan something or other. He was a total piece of shit. Aside from being crippled in a wheelchair, he's just an absolute fucking scumbag. And he started 4chan. However, no. Anyway, when Watkins, now I've spoke to Watkins several times. I've been on panels with him about 3 times. He's a weird cat. He's an interesting guy. And I don't have any beef with him personally. I find his history to be interesting. He lived in the Philippines. While in the army, he had a pig farm in the Philippines. Then he started a porn site in the Philippines, I think while he was in the army, actually, or just when he got out, before he moved back to the stateside. Why would you have a pig farm in the Philippines there? What possible reason would you have a pig farm in the Philippines?
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, perhaps some genetic testing or whatever.
No. Pigs, a bunch of pigs can devour a human body within a few hours and leave no evidence, none. And you can't pull the DNA out of all the muck. It's a very well-known way to dispose of bodies. Anyway, I'm not saying he did that. I'm just saying it's interesting. Then he had a porn site using Philippine girls. Then he had a YouTube channel using the same porn stars and strippers to disseminate the news. Weird cat all the way around. Disseminate the news. Weird cat all the way around. You can't pin him down on any thought, any idea, he just talks in circles. He's a very strange cat.
What's his first name? With like a law firm, Latham and Watkins LLP.
No, like I said, I don't have anything against Jim, and I'm just thinking, but it's weird that somebody like him with that past, and maybe I'm construing things wrong or different. I don't know, but it's weird, and the things he's been involved with are shady and bizarre and quasi side. People that were involved in the investigation, I can't find. People have dropped off the face of the fucking earth. I can't find them anymore. People that come to me with information, people I used to know and talk with all the time, they're gone. Come to find out their names weren't their names. Like, I now know people are giving me disinformation on many levels, redirections, trying to get into my personal life. spin me up, trap me. All kinds of things were happening during those years because Alicia and I are on the forefront of the Isaac Kappy investigation, still to this day. You know, the only other, Steve Outram, who was very involved, he dropped out. He made one video. He don't answer phone calls anymore. He's like, I don't want anything to do with Isaac Kappy. I believe I know what happened, and I believe I know who killed him, and I'm out. Don't call me.
Gotcha.
You're right. But anyway, 4chan, in my opinion, and 8chan is a government honeypot. It is a U.S. intelligence honeypot, not unlike all of the Nazi sites where, you know, if you want to find all the Nazis out there, just start up a pro-Nazi site, right? Or a pro, you know, whatever, racist site or whatever you want, and they'll come, and then you can start tracking them and infiltrate their communities. So I think that's what 4chan is to this day still. But, and I think it's a provider of disinformation as well. Because the 4chan sleuths, what they're known for, right? Sleuthing around finding information. The 4chan community as a credible sleuth who comes up with the information, well, who's to say that person doesn't work for the government? Because there's no accountability. And that's the big problem with online sleuthing and social media and all the sock accounts everybody has and all the bullshit that runs people in fucking circles. That's why when people want to talk to me, I'm like, great. Get on your computer, turn your fucking camera on, and I'll talk to you. I want your name, and I'm going to vet you. I want to find out who you are, where you live, because there's so much of it out there. There's just so much of it out there, man.
You said it was Jim Watkins, right?
Jim Watkins, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'm trying to...
He shouldn't be hard to find.
Right. I was doing Watkins, and he has so much correspondence with that law firm, which, by the way, because it was off narrative, it happens to be a Rothschild legal situation too, right? So it's part, his Rothschild business. That's the most damning thing at the end of the day for me is the fact that, he was doing the bidding of the Rockefellers. Okay, here we are, Learning Institute. Oh, look at this. Okay, there's something in here. This is let me put this in the there's a chat room.
All right, let me tell you what I think while you're looking for that. Let me tell you what I think Donald Trump is.
All right.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
This is my opinion of as of now until further information comes out, but like I said, I'm pretty sure this is it here.
Yeah.
At this point, Jeffrey Epstein was found out. Well, he was placed in Harvard by U.S. intelligence. Barr, right? William Barr and his father, who was a CIA director. William Barr's father allowed him to come in and start teaching at the school. He had 0 accreditations for teaching, 0 accreditations to be a professor. They wanted him in the mathematics department in order to get in there and get information, science information from the top research scientists in physics and weapons. From there, he began honeypotting people throughout government and agencies, entertainment, banking, all of it. Now, if you listen to Whitney Webb, you'll know that all the U.S. intelligence is kicking up. And he figures out, hey, we can offer kids and trick people to coming in, get them on film, and then we own them for life. We own professors for life. We own presidents of Harvard for life. We own, presidents of Chase Bank for life. The Prince of fucking England for life.
Right.
Go down the list. We own everybody for life with these kids. And the CIA found out about it, or they facilitated. I don't know how that happened. Whatever happened, they signed on to it. Dory thinks that Julian Dory thinks that they signed on to it. I think it was their baby from the beginning, personally. And so that goes on for a while. Trump, doing what Trump does. He's a playboy. He's single. He's an attractive guy. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's out fucking everything that fucking moves in New York City. And he falls into Jeffrey Epstein's honeypot somewhere along the way. And the FBI sits him down and says, hey, man, dude, looks like you were there with a 13-year-old Katie Johnson, was it, or was it the one up in the hotel room with you and Jeffrey when you came inside of her and you threw a couple $100 to take care of that with an abortion and all the rest of it?
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen: you're going to help us. You're going to do this. You're going to build this project. You're going to go to the Middle East to build that project. You're going to, and then he got a whole from, was it the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers? Who cares? I think it was Rothschilds, right?
Sure. I mean, like I said,
It was in our family.
Yeah.
Epstein here is in financial.
See, and he becomes the powerhouse that he is. And he begins getting groomed by the U.S. intelligence agencies along with all the other Manchurian candidates through the 90s, 2000s, because he's hinting out and dropping he's going to run for president over and over and over again, right? So that's how I think Trump fits into all of this. Somewhere along the way, Trump gets elected president, and all the blackmail and honeypots from treaties, foreign influence, foreign negotiations, allies, enemies, warfare, politics, financing, banks. It's all one big, ugly mash of everything. That's what Jeffrey Epstein was. He was the front man whose name was attached to this stuff, whose name went into it, but the money behind Jeffrey Epstein, where did Jeffrey Epstein get all his money from? When Robert Maxwell died, when the Mossad killed him, right, off the Atlantic coast over there, and because he was stealing money from the pension funds, he was robbing Israel blind, he died. And I think 480-something million, somewhere around there, just poof, disappeared. Like early that very next year is when Jeffrey Epstein went from being a poor, teacher to having 480 some odd million dollars in a bank account. Everyone knows the money came from Robert Maxwell, who was an arms dealer, arms trafficker for Israel and MI6.
Yes. And also, he's been running the entire mind of Western civilization through McGraw-Hill.
He had, Robert Maxwell had McGraw-Hill, which printed all the textbooks for elementary and high school students from...
I stand the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy if you stick with the education you had, because you would have edited the entire ontology of your experience of reality.
It's deep, man. You tell people that aren't initiated into any of this stuff.
Nope. Okay, Corey just dropped off. Seconds before he dropped off, I had been notified that he stopped recording on his end. Alicia's still here. You're muted, Alicia.
Here we go. Can you see me now?
Yep, you're here. I hear you. Number one. It's the one that we all know. It would be the education that the kids in Stranger Things would be getting, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. So, thus, from it says 1989 to 93. He co-owned relevant to McGraw-Hill school textbook operation from 89 to 93. I think it was longer than that.
Okay. Well, that means he had to wait till the Bush Senior administration to get through it, and we all know what we heard that Bush Senior did on the island.
Yeah. So anyway, you got that. Do you know who Robert Maxwell's other daughter is?
Ooh, he's got another bitch, or is she a good person? Let me not be so cruel. Is she dead because she was a sweetheart? What happened? She all right, alive. Or is she evil?
She actually, her name is Isabel. Christine's fraternal twin, also tech entrepreneur involved in early internet ventures, including roles in companies like Common Touch, now CYREN, C-Y-R-E-N, and recognized as the World Economic Forum technology pioneer. She is a WEF technology pioneer.
Okay.
So the head arms trafficker for Israel through all from the 1949 all the way up until fucking when he died a couple years back, right? Or all that, not a couple years back in the 90s, I believe, early 2000s. His other daughter also funded or started up the company that the FBI uses. They use the CIA uses Oracle software, right? That's their primary database software. And that's owned by Larry Ellison. Okay? Larry Ellison, who just bought TikTok. Okay? He owns the software that's used by the CIA. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's other sister, co-produced the Centennial software that's used by the FBI. Were you aware of that?
I see. Gotcha. Thank you.
That's how integrated all this shit is. And when these guys know, the Kennedy knows, every single one of them know on these Senate hearing committees, in the National Security Council hearings that we have, they know what's going on. It's all a fucking show. The entire government is aware of what's happening with national security as it pertains to the Maxwells, as it pertains to Larry Ellison, as it pertains to Peter Thiel, as it pertains to Donald J. Trump. Any one of these people has the power to tear down the whole fucking system and burn it to the ground. The Clintons can burn it to the ground. Trump can burn it to the ground. They can all burn it.
Yep.
And what's going to happen to them and their legacy and their kids and whatever else is going to happen to them? They'll all suffer greatly, right? None of them are going to do it. Not only that, Western hegemony, Western civilization will fall because America will say, fuck this, fuck the government, we want something different. Nature abhors a vacuum. Other people will come in, and boom, the enemy is at the gate. China, Russia, Iran, all of them. And all that power will dissipate out. They're not going to let that happen. That's what I think is happening right now with Epstein. And that's why Cash and Trump came out yesterday and said, oh, the Epstein investigation is officially closed. There's no one to redact some shit. Well, we released everything we could legally release. Yeah, because national security issues prevents you from not redacting these things for national security. I had a long talk with my son about this. He's in his early 20s yesterday. And I said, dude, he goes, well, Dad, didn't they release everything? I'm like, no, son, they redacted everything and then released it. Well, what do you mean? I said, they redacted everything and said it's national security.
I would just say, no, son, you don't understand. They ran out of black ink because they used it.
Right?
Like that's all you how do you not fucking get that? I found an email. Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein. And this is just arranging a dinner date in 2016 between the two.
Yeah. You know, I see a lot of overlap between Isaac Kappy and Jeffrey Epstein. I do. I see a lot of overlap and a lot of these things going on here. And I think Alicia sent me this the other day. These are all the people that died. Isaac Kappy, Albuquerque, he died from suicide, allegedly, right? We got, who's this up here? Natasha Jeanette, Argentinian model. She was coming out researching pedophile rings in Argentina, named top politicians, and Pope Benedict in a live TV show. She's dead. Superstar DG Avicii found dead after exposing pedophile ring, right? We got a model who exposed the elite pedophile ring, found dead after tweet predicting she did. Who's that? That's, I can't see, it's small. And then another one here, she died. A lot of people have died exposing pedophile rings, you know?
Don't forget Tracy.
Tracy Twyman. She had gone to the FBI, and they wouldn't hear what she had to say, and she hanged herself in a garage. Allegedly.
This is Frickman about Thiel. I'm on the case. Thiel, let's talk tomorrow. I'm at the farm. But why Thiel? Another libertarian type and not Elon Musk? This is 2009. He's talking about Musk in 2009.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Truly brilliant physicist who you would benefit from knowing. Peter Thiel professes that he is unable to engage in what he terms unacceptable compromise, politics, considers democracy a failed experiment. Democracy, small. If he means literal small d democracy, I can actually agree with him. Like I said, I'm an anarchist. Typically, because just be grateful that this wolf doesn't
so
like
unfair.
democracy. See, I'm a wolf. I'm a wolf anarchist, so you know that I'm not voting to eat you. I'll just eat you if I have to.
That's
So
right.
you better make your own judgment as to whether you think I'm hungry enough for you. Anyway, drawing into doubt the wisdom of granting women and the poor voting rights, this position received hard criticism. Oh, you don't say. So hold on, is Peter Thiel anti-women's suffrage?
Peter Thiel's a fascist.
Hey. Well then. Well.
Peter Thiel was raised
Granted,
in-
this is 2009, and Peter
Yeah.
Thiel's gay, so I mean,
He was raised in a Nazi enclave of a town in South Africa, the same one that a lot of the Nazi SS and Nazi politicians went to after World War II. Some went to the Ukraine, some went to Argentina, and a bunch went down to South Africa. That's where Peter Thiel is from. His grandfather was one of those people.
Yeah. One of
Okay.
the email correspondences I caught was talking about the Ukraine, and it was, and according to what Jeff's information was going on, I think it was an email to him, not going to fall. Right? Like, so
They're not going to let it fall.
He knew that like it's not about, remember, he's fucking financing with the Russians.
Yeah.
So like if he doesn't, unless Jeffrey is contesting that statement before he dies, I don't know yet. I'm just saying I did find one where there was a period in time where the word was, don't worry about the Ukraine falling. And it even mentions the people of the Ukraine, different groups, including the Tatars, who are remnants of the Tartarians.
Sure. So here's where the Ukraine fits into all of this. Economic stronghold, the corporations, the infrastructure, the resources of the Ukraine, tearing it down, liquidating it, piecing it out, and profiting on it like motherfuckers. Okay? This is what the CIA does before we go in and bomb any country. We send merger and acquisition attorneys. There's two primary firms the CIA uses in this country to do that with. The one of them, do you remember a girl who got shot by Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust in New Mexico, out of Taos, New Mexico?
Right.
Hannah, what the hell's her name? Hannah something or other, right? Hannah, will you find that for me? Somebody in the audience. Come on, audience. Get out there, work. Who did Alec Baldwin shoot? Give me a name. Anyway, when you dig into her.
Helena Hutchins.
Helena Hutchins, thank you.
Right.
Helena Hutchins.
And she was trained or something by the same people that shot Brandon Lee.
Yeah,
There's
maybe,
a connection to the
maybe.
Brandon Lee shooting with her that I don't remember the details, but I just want to let you be aware that connection exists, and everybody at this point has kind of pinned the triad or somebody for fucking with that gun to get him shot because, he had some of his dad's secrets, right? And it's the let's just say that Bruce Lee and his bloodline are very, very important to Team Light. Very. So important.
I did a very, very in-depth study on Helena Hutchins here. Right. I'll just go through a few basics with you because it's very important to understand this is how the CIA operates here. Deocculting the Alec Baldwin, Helena Hutchins shooting. Okay, there she is, pretty girl, Ukrainian. Plot the movie Rust, right? On and on. So her Russia. Okay, that was her father. Okay, the Ukraine is not a peaceful little town or a nation on the west side of Russia. It has been a cornerstone. It's like Syria. It's like Afghanistan. It is extremely important land for nation building, resource management, trade. It has a deep sea port coming in there, right? All that. Whoever controls the Ukraine will control Northern Europe, basically. That's her father, okay? Helena Hutchins, she was born on a Soviet military base in the Arctic. Her father served in the Soviet Navy. She called herself an army brat, right? She went into and worked for this guy right here. This guy was a red top rag guy, Will Stewart. Will Stewart worked directly for MI6 as an anti-Russian propagandist for the British, whose job was to turn out hundreds of salacious stories a week. Stories about sex, sex slaves affairs, women cannibalized by men, soldiers eating babies, etc. Okay? That's where she went to work at. Then she went to work for another cat.
Where was all that happening?
In the Ukraine.
In the Ukraine. Okay.
Okay, so well, first of all, let me back up.
Yeah.
According to the film historian Jim Hemphill, she first became interested in a film on the military base. She attended National Agricultural University and then Kiev National University, first studying economics before changing to journalism. Okay, she is a propagandist for the fucking Ukraine. For MI6. The Ukraine is controlled by MI6, CIA, and the Mossad. Those three intelligence agencies are the same intelligence agency. The United States is Israel. Israel is the United States. MI6 is the CIA. Mossad is MI6 and the CIA. It's all the same ball of wax. Okay? When everything makes sense, when you see all these intelligence agencies as one cohesive unit managing Western hegemony. In fact, you can look at Israel founded for the next 80, 90, 100 years. That's what Israel is. It's a, hey, fuck you. We're going to put this thorn right here in the middle of in the Middle East, and we're going to keep just whatever we want done that we can't do, Israel's going to do it. We're going to fund Israel. We're going to weaponize Israel. We're going to give Israel technology. We're going to use all this stuff for Israel, and they're going to do it, and we're going to back them the whole entire time. Israel is our bitch. That's why we don't stop. At the same time, Israel, run by the CIA, Mossad, and MI6, has blackmailed everybody in our government, from the justices to the senators to the congresspeople, or at least enough to control what happens on a national, international level. Once you understand that, fucking everything else makes sense and falls right into place. That's why these hearings produce no fruit. That's why Trump will never release any information. That's why the Democrats and the Republicans and everybody in between is just give you theater. Because either they don't know what's going on, or they're not read into it, or they're just like, hey, those in the Security Council are like, well, we can't talk about this because it's national security. We're going to let the files go, but we need 2 months to redact it because you can't know all this stuff. Because Israel is the United States. Because Trump is U.S. intelligence. Trump is the deep state. Once you understand that Trump's the deep state, everything fucking makes sense. Right. Helena Hutchins makes sense. All the people that are dead in foreign countries make sense. It all does. So she's a propagandist. She works for MI6. Then she works for this cat down here. Then she marries Matthew Hutchins. And here's where I was going with this. Matthew Hutchins was groomed for a life of law at a very young age, primarily educated International House between 05 and 6, where he springboarded into Harvard Law School. Then he went to work. I got all the details of this guy's life are in here, right? He then goes over and he worked for education training at Stanford. The CIA funded mind control brainwashing techniques developed for Stanford University. He goes to work as an executive producer. I'm sorry, he's not. Including Skadden Arps and Kirkland and Ellis. Okay, these are CIA law firms. Y'all can look that up. To Latham and Watkins. That's the big one. Latham and Watkins is the big CIA law.
Yeah, that's you know what? What was I looking at? Latham and Watkins for that Rothschild.
That's right. There you go. Okay.
There you go.
Helena Hutchins ended up marrying this guy. He was over there dismantling the economic infrastructure of the Ukraine 5 years before we went in and started bombing the fuck out of it. Why? Why did we do all this? Why did we go into the Ukraine? Why are we in the Ukraine using them as a battering ram against Russia? Because Israel wants control of the Middle East and the oil fields and all the energy resource on Earth for the foreseeable future forever. Russia will always back up Iran, and China will always back up Iran. So if we can beat the fuck out of Russia with the Ukraine and deplete their their military strength, deplete their money, deplete everything about them. They no longer have the strength when we go in, like we're about to go in any minute now, and kick the fuck out of Iran and take it over. That's the story. That's what happened. And Helena Hutchins, somehow they found out she was either a double agent or a spy or whatever. And in my opinion, they had Alec Baldwin fucking smoker on that set. That's my opinion.
Right.
Because nothing else makes sense. Here, Helena Hutchins, as an occultist, the date of her death alone tells me that something is more than an accident. The numerology, energetic date alignment, moon phase, the fact that Helena's husband is a lawyer involved in recent Hillary Clinton connected Durham indictment as well. You have what appears to right? Brandon Lee. Here's Brandon Lee. Well, let me back up to Hutchins here. Helena Hutchins' death occurred on October 21st, 2021, or 10-3-3, which is 133. And you know the high signatures. That's an energetic ritual. That's an energetic, ritualistic, numerological, hermetic seal right there for those two deaths. Killed by a 44 Magnum, right? And you got John Eric Hexum as well, 44. These are the only three people who've ever died accidentally on any set from any Hollywood movie ever. These three people. And they all have something in common ritualistically, right? 44, 40. So one was shot with a 44, one was shot with a 44, one was shot with a 45. The only three people to ever be killed in Hollywood, the caliber of the weapons add up to 133 or the high signature.
Wow.
That's amazing. All right.
That's unavoidable, Corey.
Yeah. No, it's and when the Masons open up to Psalms 133, which is the whole brotherhood thing, you can go to my website phoenixenigma.com and know about 133. You can go into number studies and down here I got 133. Boom, you click on that and you can find all about the high signature 133. It's a combination of 13 and 33, sharing the 3 in the middle. Seal of Masonic sanctioned events, or at least Masonic or higher. But in any case, 133 is all over Isaac Kappy.
Yeah.
All over Isaac Kappy. And I have yet to dive in to all of this stuff right now with Epstein. Quite honestly, man, I got fucking tired of just de-occulting, finding the same thing over and over. It's I can do this to the day I die, but what's the next step? After we understand that then what do we do? We can de-occult it forever on the tail end, but I don't want to do that. I want to solve it.
I found something juicy just now. Found something kind of juicy. Who hold on a second. Which one is it? 25. There we go. Yeah. Who Thorbjorn Jagland is?
Thorbjorn.
Thorbjorn Jagland.
Yeah, Thorbjorn. Thorbjorn.
Yep. He's a Labor Party guy. Yep. Mm-hmm. He was Secretary General of the Council of Europe from 2009 to 2019. This was a 2014 correspondence. So he was in the middle. He was in the middle of that, but I think he's the current prime minister. Hey, Thorbjorn, resign, motherfucker.
Well, Epstein knocked up one of the princesses of Norway, and she got an abortion. He knocked her up too.
God, she had an abortion.
She had an abortion.
Really? I thought Jeff wanted to have all these kids.
Apparently, he didn't want to have it with her. Maybe her DNA came back,
or maybe she just didn't want it, and she's the princess, so she doesn't have to give Jeff a kid.
Maybe her blood came back avian and not Nordic. Who knows, man?
Yeah,
Nordic and not avian, or fucking whatever.
Yeah. I mean, what Jeff is doing makes a little bit of sense to me, like with all this breeding stuff, because it kicks in with the way if you know the Bach saga, attention to some of my work on it, and how their fertility cult worked, which was extraordinarily taboo. And a long time ago, human beings physiologically were different, and then the world changed, and humans, we don't do that no more, with what's in the box saga. But the rabbis are part of the hierarchy. That title was not originally Jewish. It was originally the title of like the high. They were like the high. Like, you know how Sauron in Lord of the Rings, his role, he sires the royalty. All these half Jewish bastard kids we keep hearing about. That's because that's the Hyperborean hijack after the fall of Atlantis, when the Hyperborean bloodline was separated by the ice wall, and then the rabbis hijacked humanity and created their 10 or 12 priest kings to rule the world, and they all worked together as cousins and separated from the Hyperboreans as they moved into the Sumerian Draconian Empire stuff, shifted the consciousness of the world to the Levant, and started their world domination plot when the cult of Baal, Lilith, and all the other ones were starting to bring in these motherfuckers, right? So Jeffrey Epstein is a low level in the womb gate, in which they are trying to bring in the servants in the bloodline, vessels for demons, so on and so forth.
Sure.
That's part of what's going on a cult level, and he's just a minor fucking player.
Well, remember Nixium?
Right?
Nixium, which happened here in America a few years back. It was, the hell was that guy's name? Keith Raniere. Keith Raniere. Mitch, who's that Mormon out of Utah? He was involved in this shit too. The one you hate. The one with the big forehead and the smiley, perfect teeth and he ran for president.
Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney, that weird fucker.
God,
he was involved in that as well as the Mormons on the other side. For those of you who don't know, we live in Arizona here in Tucson. And if you go south over the border, there's a Mormon enclave down there from back when the Mormons actually went to Mexico years and years before it was Mexico, I think, actually. And they just stayed there. So there's white English speaking clinic breeding program for wealthy Hollywood females as well. Isaac was looking into that as well. But who does the CIA primarily recruit? Mormons. They love Mormons. Do you realize that Charlie Kirk was shot at UVU University, which is like most of the people that work there are ex-CIA or ex-intelligence. It's one of the what do they call it, a gateway school, or not a gateway, it's an entry school to where if you're going to go into CIA, the FBI, the NSA, military intelligence, army intelligence, name it, you go through Stanford or Utah Valley University or a number of West Point, a number of other schools, right? That's one of the primary ones.
Nicholas is right here. Mormons are the deep state.
Absolutely, they are. Founded by somebody who was a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. It is an American religion, and it functions on predation of children and families and structure and growth and development and doing what you're told and obeying orders and crossing your I's and dotting your T's. That's what, I know I said it backwards on purpose, but that's what the Mormons are. And they are a CIA organization for recruitment. They breed their own agents, if you will. Dude, this country, I now look at America and I can see when the Muslims say, oh, that's the great Satan over there. Fuck yes. I mean, if you're going to pin Christian pantheon gods onto anything, we are the great Satan. The things we have done in this world is absolutely atrocious. It's fucking disgusting on so many epic levels. And Trump is covering it up because Trump is the deep state. I voted for Trump 3 times. do people keep making excuses for Trump? At what point you're like, well, maybe. I mean, I went through that phase and I'm like, maybe it's like a Saul to Paul story. Like maybe Trump was in there doing bad things to the kids, but then he realized that, it's a bad thing. He's going to turn his life around for Christ and no, he's a fucking monster like the rest of them. And he's doing his job so that his lineage and his kids can continue to hold positions of power, and his legacy isn't destroyed, and Western civilization keeps going. Like that's where we're at. It's unfortunate and disgusting and sick and wrong. And if Epstein is ever to be fully explained and those who did the deeds brought to justice, Western civilization will fall. It just will fall. I don't think America is as strong as we think it is. I mean, we have technology, we have weapons, but right now our currency is crashing. And that's why Trump's devaluing the dollar, because the BRICS nations are putting together the BRICS currency, and Trump has to convert over to a digital currency before the dollar. So he's devaluing it, and he's gonna crash it. And he's going to force all the other nations to buy into the American digital currency, which he will default for the globe. That's where we're at right now. And that's what Iran's about, Russia, China. Everything right now is about this upcoming currency that's going down. And it's terrifying times, man. Let's see here. Excited, right? Yeah. America will fall, not Western civilization. Well, maybe. Man, I would disagree with you there, brother. Fox, Europe's gone, man. They've been outbred already. They've been completely outbred. They're never going to get all the Muslims out. They're never going to get all the Arabs out. The North Africans. Oh, hey, Zer, you're muted.
There you go. I was politely muted, so I didn't interrupt you while making noises. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about the Articles of Confederation, because we, like America, would it fall? Yes, but we have baked in the Articles of Confederation, right? But if we don't know what the fuck we're doing, then it won't matter if we go to the Articles of Confederation, because the Confederates will then just restructure it the way that they want. So before that happens, we have to have the larger conversation about how you figure out who that is a statesman who knows the law, but isn't like part of all of that, right? Because I have an inherent distrust of a bar registered lawyer, because the British Accreditation Registry,
sure,
and everything that I know about that shit, the maritime law, is just like, I wish I was better with the command of parse, syntax, and quantum grammar and all those things, because it is monstrous trying to have a defensive conversation properly with an officer on the side of the road when they want to have a problem with you, and then to be able to say all the super words but true universal speak of truth. It's jaunting. It's very jaunting to, and you have to be so particular, and it's just like, it still feels inhuman and wrong to have to put a person, even an intelligent person, through all of this. And I'm just not built for it, right? Maybe if I followed the rules, I'd make the greatest lawyer in the universe because of how I do what I do as I am. But that don't mean shit when those rules don't let me be myself. And I hate working places that don't let me be myself.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely unseal the Epstein files, kick all the illegals out, blah, 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 blah. He's done none of it. And let me tell you something about Argentina here, and Venezuela, I mean, and Michigan. So it came out that Venezuela had a huge voter fraud operation going in, and the deep state was operating out of Venezuela. maybe the China as well, some other countries where they're not sure yet, but a lot of people believe, and I've heard it rumored around now, that our going into Venezuela was multifaceted. One, it was to make sure they couldn't steal any elections again, because that's where it was coming out of. Two, the oil that they were providing China, we requisitioned and we'll be redirecting it over to Israel, and to cut off, the BRICS nations from that oil. So we took it. We basically conquered that nation. We put in our own, proxy vice president over there, right? Who's the president of Mexico right now? That Jewish gal, right? Married to the Jewish banker?
Right.
So that's going on track for Israel right now. So, I mean, the American deep state.
Yeah.
What if, and I have no, Zara, I got a hunch here, man.
Yeah.
What if these ICE raids are not about illegal color revolution, voter fraud organisms?
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, I know I understand how important it is, right? Like I tell people, like, I'm literally not anti-ICE. I actually have family who is a qualified professional career ICE agent who's been moment in his life was being on that assignment. He fucking hates it. He's thinking of leaving. And I'll say, and that's all I'll say, because I don't want to compromise him or his prospects of where he wants to go. Yeah. But let's just say that where he wants to go is still in the government, and I was making jokes about it with him.
Yeah, I think we're also being prepped here. We're being desensitized to federal troops knocking heads in the streets, because what's going to happen in the future during the next election cycle? Yeah. Trump's probably going to have to release ICE or some equivalent so that our country isn't hijacked. See, everyone in America thinks that your vote is sacred. Like, oh, your vote's sacred here, guys. You vote. You get the little sticker, right? Your vote's real important. It's bullshit. We haven't had a fair election since fucking JFK got killed. They've been rigging every damn one of them. Yeah. Yeah. It's all the deep state, people. It's all for show.
Yeah. I mean, so, I tell people, because it's important that they know that, but I never like to drop that if it's not involved with the empowerment, because otherwise you're just disempowered. Because, well, if you don't got your vote, what do you got? You just got some fucking emperor.
Well, you live on a farm.
Running your life.
You live on a tax farm. See, America is a corporate entity, literally, legally, right? Right. A corporate entity has an executive known as the president, right? It has the CFO and all the other people going all the way down. We got the treasury, all that stuff. Yeah. You have a tech component for your equipment. You got your financing for new equipment and, outreaching and building new facilities and expanding. Then you have your labor component. And if you are listening to the sound of my voice right now, you are the labor component in a national corporation. And you are goats. I have to feed them. Well, you have to eat too. And Quaker and Nestle produce this food that keeps you in a state of psychosis or, fluoridated, the fluoride grin or whatever. And you go to the grocery store and you get your food. They got you actually trained to go get it yourself. And you're paid to perform a skilled number of muscular motions per hour, right? And if you're good enough, you get to the higher echelons of our society and you go to work for, wait for it, the military industrial complex or the government. We are literally, if you look up the word, and I am not a liberal. I would be like a Jeffersonian liberal maybe, but not a modern day. America is a fascist nation. If you go by the original definition of fascism, we are a fascist nation. This is why Abraham Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial has his arms on two fasces. That's why the most famous statue of Washington, he's leaning on a fasces. That's why the Secretary of State and the lead of the Senate has a fasci behind her that is the scepter that they use for their control. We are literally
and the fasci hangs up on the walls of the House of Representatives as well. Nancy Pelosi, for much of her career, would wear a fasci fucking brooch. I've shown it to you and all that. Like 100%. We all point that out. You've deconstructed a lot of her fucking outfits, right? Yeah. She's fucking proud fascist wearing that. She might as well be wearing the Nazi fucking emblem.
Well,
right?
She is deep state.
Of course she is. I mean,
she's part of the mechanisms. I mean, she understands.
She's a freaking tool of the deep state. Yeah. I mean, she's deep state in the sense that she's owned by the deep state. Yeah. She's pretty, like if they're not Jewish in the government, then they're a Shavat Goy in the government. Sure.
But if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now and you're like, oh, this Phoenix Enigma guy, this Corey guy, he hates America. No. You're misreading. I'm not a liberal. I don't understand what's happening yet. You are in the theater. You don't get it. It is the government portrayed as the left and right, getting you to fight and pick a side so we can be divided for the illusion while they continue to run the country from the deep state, of which Trump's a part of.
Yeah. There was once a point.
That's where it's at.
A couple, I think it was in the big, was it during Biden's? Whenever they had those UAP hearings, the last UAP hearings.
The congressional UAP hearings?
Yeah. And there was this one moment that I was talking about after I heard it happen in the hearings, 12 hours of shit or whatever. Like I listened to I spent
they went on for days.
I listened to it. And the guy was asked a question about some form of information he couldn't fucking talk about or whatever, telling the Congress guys.
We have to go into a skiff.
Guys, whatever. And he says, and he said, who? And the guy was like, his vague but descriptive term was, I think he said, the gatekeepers within the U.S. government. Like he said something about gatekeepers, and it's kind of like it was basically a big deep state fucking statement that he was basically forced to say, because that there's nobody. There's not a person in government. It's like on him.
Yes.
Right. Maybe that's people understand. Maybe that's like the minister of the elites that Jeff, like for France. So America must have a guy like that, or a group like that guy that's in that Epstein photo. Yeah. He would be the guy in the background, facilitating the infrastructure by which your entire Congress, executive, and Supreme Court systems are operating. And if you can't hunt that down, you don't even know how to have accountability of a government, and if even that accountability would fucking solve the problem, because human nature.
They don't care. The ones that say that they're Christian, they're not Christian. That's for you. That's the religion for you to believe in, to care about, to have a value system and a control system. That's for you, not them.
Yeah.
That's
why, I'm reading the Babylonian Talmud on the channel currently, and what does the Talmud say? What they're doing is it's their government. It's not their religion. It's not.
That's
their
right.
faith. It's not their what. It's literally their government.
Judaism is not a religion. At the end of the day, it's a political system. It's a political, socio-economic, cultural system. That's why 85% of Jews out there are secular. Yeah. That's why 85% of Israel is secular.
And when you read through the fucking rules for dealing with the Sabbath, I'm only reading a small slice of the Talmud. This is just about getting the exposure out there, right? You compare that to the height of COVID protocols, and you realize only the fucking Jews, the Talmudic Babylonians, could have fucking devised such an inhuman, unnatural manner of living. Oh God, what a fucking stressor to fucking live for that Sabbath. Who wants to fucking live for a fucking Sabbath experience? I don't want a fucking that does that. Especially I don't want to be a fucking one of their goy. Fuck you. I'm a Carpathian white, not a fucking Gentile. I don't use your fucking words, Lee. like when I was doing the email scan, I think I played the audio clip. I found a clip that was relevant of Dershowitz, who's an Epstein lifer, you know, having the Zionism argument in some temple with somebody on the liberal side. I guess they were both Jewish, and he was just like an anti-Zionist or whatever. And what determines a Jew are what Jews are calling themselves Jews by.
Yeah, no kidding.
National Zionist, not Z. The greatest gaslight of all.
Oh, and it's been so effective. It's been so fucking effective.
It's been perfect. Oh my God.
I get people on here just hating Jews. I'm like, dude, it ain't the fucking Jews. It's the Zionists. And if you check out proto-Zionism, which is long before what's his name? Herschel, what's his name? The Herschel Zionist guy from the late 1800s?
Right.
Yeah. Zionism was around well before that. And if you look into proto-Zionism, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. It was it's an ethno-political philosophy is what it was. And they put it together. And after World War II, they said, hey, Britain's got this colony down there in the Middle East. Let's go ahead and make a Zionist state. We just conquered the fucking world with World War II. We got the atom bomb. Let's create a Zionist state right now and fucking push this envelope forward. And that's the Templars, by the way. Go ahead.
The email correspondences was about this little town in Israel. Epstein was emailing with Alana de Rothschild or so. He's emailing with back near the West Bank, apparently. And he's getting an honorary citizenship there. So I looked up the name of the town, and it's near Tel Aviv. And now everybody's talking about this guy that looks like Epstein in Tel Aviv. Yeah.
So that's wait, is that the big guy, the picture with the beard, right?
Yeah, the beard and the glasses, and the nose might look a little different, but I'd imagine
that's been debunked. That's been 100% fully debunked at this point.
Okay, not him, but the Tel Aviv connection. It's plausible that he could be hiding in that fucking region of Israel.
Sure, of course.
Of that.
I think there's a greater than 50% chance that Epstein's still alive, and if he is in Israel. Oh, it was manufactured.
Okay. All right.
And they traced it back to where it went. But that doesn't mean he's not alive and living there. That just means that photo is
right. Because when I heard people starting to say that something in the files hinted what was telling them that he was still alive, that was before that picture was circulating in the consciousness. Right? I heard about that a couple days before that theory, a couple days before that picture started getting its rounds out. Right? Mm-hmm. So there's something in the emails because somebody found something with one of these alleged gamer accounts of his where it's been active. But then again, that could just be whoever's holding on to his accounts, because he would have done that, especially while he was alive and in jail. He definitely would have done all sorts of shit, power of attorney, et cetera, as anyone would know with his Jewish legal privileges, right? So, because there's also emails that I noticed in there that are from after he is dead, including an email from somebody who found out that he died and said, "Hey, is Jeff dead?" Like asking in that, like, if he's in jail, why would he be checking his emails, right? So obviously somebody could be using his account in that way and just wants the rumor that he's alive because spread those conspiracy theories. Remember
you remember
you
remember the interview I did with a woman who I will not release her name, and she told me that she talked to Isaac Kappy on Monday evening about 7:30 p.m. Said that she spoke to Isaac on Monday night, and I said no, he died Monday morning at 7:22 a.m. She goes, no, I spoke to him, and so did my husband. That was Isaac, like we talked to him every other day for a half hour at a time. And I'm like, well, he died in the morning. She goes, I talked to him at night. And Isaac's mom got really mad at me. She's like, you really got our hopes up, Corey, but that was a really cruel thing to do. And I said, well, here's my thought, Wendy. That's Isaac's mother's Wendy Kappy. I said, Wendy, here was my thought. If this woman's lying, I want to expose it for her to be a liar, to put it to bed. If she's not lying, would you want to know if your son was still alive? She goes, yeah. I said, well, that was my reasoning. It wasn't out of cruelty. It was done out of journalistic, let's find out and take it all the way, and yes or no. And then either brand her a liar or brand her a truth teller. But, with so many things, it was left in the open. I mean, we have more evidence. We were reached out to a few weeks ago by somebody, and I'm in possession of a phone call that sounds like Isaac Kappy talking.
Yes, it does.
I have that right now. And it was after Isaac's death. And what do I do with it? Do I make a video and put it out there and say Isaac's alive? No. Is there any way to verify it? No. Does it sound like Isaac on the phone? Yeah, a little bit. Quite a lot, actually. So, is it more narrative control, narrative destruction?
Could somebody have threatened the family and said, "Here, put this out," or maybe they somehow sliced together a natural flow? Like, I don't know, did you have a conversation or was it just a voicemail?
So somebody called a number that they knew to be Isaac's number, and the person that answered sounded like Isaac. And then the person started saying, yo, hey, Isaac, what's up, man? And it sounded like Isaac. He's like, hey, and then the person that sounded like, before the guy said, hey, is that you, Isaac? He sounded just like Isaac. So, what do you do with that? I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. But, and there's other information that I'm not going to talk about tonight. I have tracked down people. Everyone thinks the Isaac Kappy investigation ended back in 2021. I can tell you right now that we come up with more stuff every few months. Someone reaches out to us, or we put another piece together, or someone says, hey, I found this. I thought you should have it. We've been to the FBI about Isaac Kappy. We've been to the Arizona Attorney General's office about Isaac Kappy, and among other things, ancillarily related to Isaac Kappy. And I'll tell you what's happening with the Charlie Kirk cover-up right now is fucking identical to what we went through with the Isaac Kappy investigation. From the misdirection to the scripted disinformation, to the rumors, to the you can't pick on Erica because she's a grieving widow. Well, it was Isaac's mom at the time.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't put the pictures out because we can't talk about it because Wendy will be upset, right? I mean, I can find a parallel for everything happening right now with Isaac. Not only that, how long was it to stop talking about Isaac himself? Like, no one talks about Charlie anymore. It's about TPUSA. The whole narrative grabbed, yanked over here, put on a new path, and pushed that way. Same with Isaac Kappy. Who's the one person nobody fucking talks about anymore after Isaac Kappy died? Seth Green. The first one Isaac came out and talked about on 7/22, July 22nd, 2018 at 1:33 in the afternoon at the San Diego Comic-Con event. And you're going to find this you might already know this, but
all right,
if you've listened to some stuff here. But I'm going to share. This is going to blow a lot of people's minds if they've never seen this. Okay, here we go. This is my de-occulting of the Charlie Kirk assassination, things I found, ritual similitudes with Nero, on and on and on, get past all that stuff. Then we get into the de-occulting stuff here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Isaac died on September 10th. That's Elul 17, by the way, in the Jewish Hebrew calendar when converted over. Elul 17 is the day that the Jews consider the beginning of the Holocaust. That's the day Charlie Kirk got whacked, okay? Also, it was the day, Elul 17, 301st day of the Great Flood, right? As well as, as other things, in the Jewish calendar. But all that being said, let me get down to the Isaac Kappy.
And an interesting point about the flooding, just thinking about it, right? When Trump was selling his little performance when he got, shot, he was like talking about like, oh, why was there so much blood? So much blood, like that little trickle like that.
Yeah.
It's not fucking anything. That's a lot of blood.
Yeah. Right. So Isaac Kappy died on July 22nd or 7/22 at 1:33 in the afternoon. 7/22 at 1:33. That's when he came out. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's when he died. He came out and talked about Seth Green on May 13th, which is the 133rd day of the year, at 7:22. I'm sorry. He died on May 13th at 7:22 in the morning. 1:33 at 7:22 in the morning. So the time and the date of Isaac's death is a complete, perfect, hermetic reversal of the time he came out and spoke about what he shouldn't have spoken about publicly. Charlie Kirk came out on the Patrick Bet-David show, Valuetainment, okay? And he spoke on 10/12/23, okay? For the first time, negatively, the first public remarks that were negative about Israel on that date. And he did it at 2:53. That's when he first started talking. Go back to that if you guys can find that. That Valuetainment, it's still up. It's public. It's on YouTube. Go to the 2:53 mark of that video, and that's when he first speaks about Israel and the genocide being wrong and bad. He's not going to stand for it. And then at 28 minutes into the show, or at 9:28 a.m., because it aired at 9 o'clock a.m., okay, was the second time he spoke negative about Israel, okay? Charlie Kirk died on the 253rd day of the year, September 10th. That is the reversal of the time he first spoke bad about Israel. Okay? And he died on 9/10 in 2025. I'm sorry. He died at 12:23 in the afternoon. 12:23 is the date he came out and talked about it. So in Charlie Isaac Kappy, it was a direct reversal of the time and date he came out, the time and date he died. This is a ritualistic signature used in high-profile silencing sanctions, murders. I am convinced of it. This is not an accident. It's not a coincidence.
Yeah. All right.
See some more shit here. The Oslo Accords were signed September 13th, 1993. Okay? For those of you old enough to remember this history here. Charlie Kirk was born October 14th, right? 31 days between the signing of the Oslo Accords and Charlie Kirk's birthday. Charlie Kirk was 31 when he died. Okay, that year, the Prime Minister of Israel, Yitzhak Rabin, right? The foreign...
Yitzhak
Rabin, thank you. Shimon Peres, they shared the Nobel Peace Prize with Yasser Arafat, okay? It was a shared Nobel Prize. Rabin was killed on November 4th, 1995 by right-wing extremist Amir here, Yigal Amir. And if you ask everyone, everyone says Rabin's blood, Bibi, Rabin's blood is on your hand. Everyone knew Bibi Netanyahu killed, right, murdered Rabin. But Rabin was shot 3 times in the back. Charlie was shot in the back. Both were at public speaking events. It's just too coincidental. It's just too scripted. Both these men were actively working to bring peace between Israel and Palestine. Both betrayed their bases, the Zionists for Rabin, MAGA Israel hawks for Kirk. Both official narratives state they were assassinated by a lone gunman. Both had security lapses. Both were killed by right-wing extremist factions. With assassination was a state-sponsored deep state event from Israel/United States. And before anyone says, oh, that's crazy, man, I tend to believe that Donald J. Trump was very well aware that Charlie Kirk was going to get shot, because Charlie Kirk was going to run for presidency of the United States within a few years, 35, I think, to run for president. He was married to that witch, right, Erica, who was a deep state Manchurian product, right? If you don't know, Erica Kirk's father works for Raytheon. He's the primary sales representative broker between Raytheon and the Israeli government. So Charlie was going to, he was slated to step in. The Zionists had created this perfect Manchurian candidate to run for president. And you know who he would have given a run for his money? Trump's kids. Kushner. Kushner wants to be president of the United States. And Charlie Kirk may have been able to beat out Kushner because no one likes Kushner. The dude's just a machine. Maybe don't want to be president. I don't know. Or maybe Donald Trump Jr. or whoever else. He could have beat any of them out. So, shut up Charlie, turn him into a martyr, do the whole Christ energy around him, being reborn, hoping for the Messiah to return, because that's what Christians are in their mind. Like, oh, he's a Messiah. Oh, he's a martyr. Oh, he's this, he's a that. And it fits the same, what's what I'm looking for? Archetype. It's the archetype, the Christ archetype. And what does Charlie's name mean? Anyone know what Charlie's name means?
Oh my gosh! Actually, I think I do. Well, I mean,
I got it right here.
We all know that Kirk is church.
Kirk is church.
Charlie is
free man. Germanic. Free man, Charlie. And his middle name, James, comes from Jacob being the supplanter, the holder of the heel. His name literally means what his life description was. He's the free man of the church, the holder of the heel being Israel. That's what it is.
Okay, so if char means free man, then it's probably adjacent to car, because the car is the root for the Carl. The Carl is the middle class. In Jarls, we all know that's your nobility. The thralls, that's your working class. For myself, and I'm not in charge of anybody, and I'm an asset to the Jarls, as well as to the thralls, because I have the ability to take a thrall and have them work for me.
Sure.
Right?
They are the mercantile class that came about after the end of monarchy, when republics started coming around. It was the Templars that allowed for and permitted the mercantile class to actually come to fruition when they started pulling Europe together. That was all Templars that did all that. And that's where that's where the modern day mercantile class came from. See, if you're alive right now and you think, "Oh, I'm born to a country and I have a job," it wasn't always like that. Like, you were born on a kingdom, and you were given to a lord, and you were a slave in a serfdom. That's what reality in the world and life was. And then the Templars started doing their thing, and they were down in Palestine. Do you know that? Templars went down to Palestine.
Oh, yeah.
And they started building, and
I'm of Templar blood.
1500s, they were down there. Hey, what do you want to bet? What do you think? Maybe, just maybe, Trump being high German born bloodline. Oh, German blood. I'm proud of that. Nothing wrong with that. Oh yeah, I'm pretty proud of that blood. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. I mean, he's not lying. It is good stuff.
Well, yeah. What do you think the odds are that he is one of the families of the surviving Templars who are reconquering and retaking the Holy Land of Palestine?
Well, like as been said, like, the Orange Man bad is a gaslight. He's House of Orange.
I got something else. Who is Trump's secretary? Oh, not secretary. Well, yeah. Who's the Secretary of War?
That flaming homosexual that wants me to get a haircut.
Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, that guy.
What tattoo does Pete Hegseth have on his?
That's the whole infidel thing, right? He's proud of being an enemy of the Muslims.
It is the Christian crusading sword.
Oh, okay.
Trump went from the Department of Defense, Department of War, and he put a guy in charge who has the Christian crusading sword that conquered down into the Muslim nations before, killed Muslims to take back that thing. That is who Trump has on his right hand. It's on the right hand because the right hand of God is the hand of action.
Right.
Trump literally
in short, he wants to use him as the sword of Michael.
Yes, and he is. It's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Pete Hegseth is the Christian crusader with that sword in charge of the Department of War for Trump, who's probably a Templar, reconquering Palestine with Israel using the deep state to do it. That's what I think's going on.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, like, the Ayatollah's regime in Persia is not long for this world, right? And I think that was the only thing that was protecting Palestine. And look, and I don't even know what the right situation for Palestine is, right? Because if it's like there's no left and there's no right, is there really?
I'll tell you the problem with Palestine.
Palestinian and an Israeli.
Here's the terrifying, sad, horrible truth. 75% of Palestinians are inbred. Okay? The average IQ of the Palestinian is damn near at the level of room temperature. Quite literally. They are literally damn near clinically retarded. Okay? When you try to go into the military, if you have an IQ less than, I think 78, you cannot be permitted in there because there's no job they can give a nation or an army or whatever, a company. You don't hire the retards, right? You hire the most intelligent people that you can. When you interject retarded people, clinically, the clinical term here, or low IQ people into society, your crime goes up, right? Your poverty goes up. Your suffering goes up. Your injuries go up. Right? Every negative aspect that defines civilization goes up at the higher or the lower the IQ is. The fact is, you cannot develop that region of the world with the people of an IQ of that of your general Palestinians. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So they want to redevelop that part of the world. If you saw Jared Kushner on TV last week with whoever the hell the other banker was or developer, he said, oh, we've had these plans to build these hotels and casinos and all this stuff in Palestine for over 2 years now. Yeah. And the news host is like, October 7th wasn't 2 years ago. Like, you had these plans to, like, bomb, clear, and rebuild Palestine before October 7th happened?
I mean, it's like we don't talk about these things. Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because the Palestinians are probably just being like some of the people that I was reading about when I read Flavius Josephus's Jewish War on the channel. You should go back. If you haven't seen me read the Jewish War, watch me read the Jewish War. Right off chapter 1, it goes psychotic with people fucking butchering each other in circumcisions over revenge matters and such, and it just gets worse and worse and worse from there, the way they kill each other. And I'm just like, wow, so this wasn't just a war thing. Like, this is like the first documented like sectarian conflict situation. That's very much what it pretty much is. Is there a documented war that had people of worse caliber as the mainline fighters? Right? Like you're talking about, they have this they got, and whatever they just got while there's starvation running amok. Everything I read, every chapter was people who are just fucked, doing things, making themselves more fucked, and having a complete disillusion of their relationship to the parent state. Right? I mean, it's just like Israel. I mean, America is Israel, but America is technically the UN, and the UN is why we have Israel, right?
Well,
so Israel,
the UN is sick of Israel. The UN does not is the only people at the UN who like Israel is the United States. Whenever the whole world votes, it's Israel and the US, and then the rest of the world against us. But because we have control of the UN, like, we always win the vote with 2 votes, and the rest of the world voting against us.
And so my thing is this, is that the world doesn't even want to talk about who the Palestinians really are. Like, you nailed such a good, like, such a brief synopsis as the one that you gave ought to be enough to establish a real global inquiry and make the characterization. Show it to people. Like, and this is not for the case to go fucking blow them up, but it's the case of, look how they're fucking wiling out, and look how fucking, like, do you know that in the language they're speaking, that's like a 3rd grade reading level fucking thing they just said? Like,
Sure.
like
Look at
nobody's
this way.
talking, nobody's explaining this. Like,
Look at
nobody's
this way.
talking, nobody's explaining this.
Let me
There's
go
something
on.
better that we ought to do for these people that are practically a defunct race of man.
They're going to diffuse them out into the world so they can't do any more damage to one locale. They're going to disperse them and hope that
they need it to fix the fucking breeding pool. Good luck to you.
All right, so the average, just look at this. The average IQ of your average American is 98. Okay, 98. The average IQ of that 77 to 78 in 2019, so it's dropped. Probably due to the incest because of you marrying your cousin, if you're Muslim because of that religion, okay? To be clinically retarded is 74 to 75. So they are right at retardation level. And you cannot build a functioning society with non-criminals who go to war, who are educatable, right? They don't have the bandwidth here to run society. Right, you can't have a society. So yeah, and look at this from a farming perspective. Have you ever had chickens? You ever lived on like a farm?
I've spent a little bit of time with farm over many different years.
So you have chickens. I'm sure people in your audience here may have chickens, right? And you want chickens that are docile enough to handle, yet fiery enough to fight off dogs, predators, hawks, skunks, raccoons, right? You want that perfect balance in there. You want them to be high layers, right? Like 4 to 5, probably 5 to 6 eggs per week. And you want them to have the highest grain to protein to egg conversion ratio possible, right? That is the perfect chicken to save money for the highest output. And you want them to lay as long as possible, right? And start laying earlier, like 4 months as opposed to the standard 6 months. So like the whiting blue chicken and the whiting green begin laying at 4 months. They're 6 to 7 eggs a week. And the highest conversion rate for a medium-sized chicken, it is the Aryan race of the chickens, the whiting blue, okay? Put it that way.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Then you have other chickens that are for decoration or have like 3 eggs a week. Well, why are you going to feed these chickens a bunch of corn and maintain them if you're getting less back from them? It's a farm. So you don't produce those. You don't breed those together. You don't breed a shit chicken in with your whiting blues, okay? You don't do it because you're going to get bad return on investment. When you look at people, human beings, how fiery and fighty are they?
How healthy are they?
How healthy are they? What genetic mutations are in them?
Yeah.
You do not start a country with Palestinians.
Yeah.
You do not start a country with Aborigines because they are the lowest IQ on planet Earth. Okay.
Right. I've been making the argument now, like with all of the anti-colonialists. Well, you don't have to be a communist to be anti-colonialist. Okay. Welcome to America. Right. You know, it's just that, like, motherfucker, the Iroquois Confederacy and the entire population of fucking Turtle Island at the time that Columbus showed up and then colonies came later was all in fucking decline. And I'm not saying they were turning into Palestinians. They had way more diversity and forethought than that, and they were pagan, so they didn't have the corruption of the people of the book on them yet. But nobody forced them to all become fucking alcoholics like that. Right?
Yeah.
And then there's the fact that different empires were making different deals. And so half the Indians we killed was because they were friends with the fucking French at the time and we had to be British.
And we had higher technology and all that stuff as well.
Colonialism yet.
Yeah.
So liberals, shut the fuck up. We actually agree.
Yeah, liberals and conservatives agree more than they know. They're just polarized by the slop out there. But that scenario I just laid out for you, That is how the elites look at us. They look at us as stock. National park. The national parks are reserving those resources for the future when they need to mine them and cut those trees. They chemtrail you. You are being fucking managed on a farm if you do not understand that.
They poison your food. They poison your medicine.
You think they care if you know about what fucking Jeffrey Epstein did? You think they care if they're pulling some chicks out of the fucking flock to go have fun with them? Does a farmer explain to the other hens in the hen house why he pulled 3 hens out on Saturday for dinner? For the party?
Not really.
You think they're going to come clean about these kids when they're managing the systems of the world?
Yeah.
That's the state of the fucking nation. Nobody understands it. Nobody will look at it like that because it is fucking terrifying. They think they're special. They think their vote counts. They think they live in a free country. They think they live in a democracy. They think it's not rigged. They think they're not being poisoned and farmed and used until you get old. And then what? Everything falls apart and they care about you?
Yeah.
No. You'll go to some county home, or they'll let you die of some disease after malnutrition because the food programs only give you shit food and they kill you off through bad nutrition. That's the world you live in, people.
Ever since we created the tax code the way that we did, our education system sat there and said, no, you don't need to have how to pay your taxes in the curriculum. You're the guy who you're going to pay to do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, that right there is the biggest. It's just like, congratulations, you graduated high school. Welcome to the tax farm.
Welcome to the tax farm. Exactly.
Yeah.
And whereas before you would have to cut a check to the government every year, people rioted. They didn't want to pay taxes. They said, okay, we'll do it twice a year, so it's not so much. And then it was quarterly. And then someone, I forget the guy's name, he came out and he said, let's take it out of their paycheck every week so they don't notice. Then we can just go up on it all the time and they'll never fucking miss it. And that's why you have money taken out of your paycheck. Not how it started. That's how it ended up here.
You know, like they're filing your wage situation to the IRS, and then you have a choice. Do you also file? So how did you sign up with your tax situation? Did you do any withholdings and yada yada yada? Because if you don't do any withholdings, you just take home all of your paycheck. Like, you know, you're gonna have to be worried about crossing your T's and dotting your I's, like you said way earlier in the show, right? Yeah. Where if they do that first, if they just take it out first, if you screw up on your taxes, it wouldn't be so bad because you're actually screwing up in a way that you're screwing yourself over, and the government's probably not going to care so much if you screw yourself over, because why would they audit you to give you back more of your money? That never happens.
Do you realize they don't have the manpower to go after everybody at our economic level?
No, of course
we don't make enough money. If you
we don't have enough ICE agents to go after all the people Biden let in, plus everybody they've always been letting in.
Yeah. If you never paid your taxes again, Zerilath, they would never come after you. You don't make enough.
You should mention that. I never reported a dime that Uber. I never reported.
No, why would you?
No, why would I? I mean,
they give
it's too easy. It's like,
billion dollars to
money
Ukraine.
That directly went into my bank account through my. Do you know how much it'll cost to throw me in prison?
I eat a lot.
Yeah, and I know you ain't gonna feed. I know you're gonna starve me to death, but you still need me to live out my sentence. So you're still gonna have to feed me and give me some basics. And then there's all this human rights stuff, right? Yeah. That's pretty good. I would have let this go to about a 3-hour mark if we wanted to. Anyway, so. You know, because I figured we'd go at least 2 hours. This has been really, really kick-ass. Thank you so much, Corey. I hope you come back to YouTube soon. Because I think you've got enough room with the new, well, there's not that much censorship anymore. You're a special case because you're under Target, but when it's not something of Target, at the very least, or something I don't know, come back to YouTube. But PhoenixEnigma.com. Corey, tell everybody else about what's going on, if you're going to be popping up and doing a show anytime soon.
Yeah. So we're we went off air months ago here for personal reasons, work and whatnot, getting restructuring in our lives. We're about at the point where hopefully we can start at least broadcasting once a week on Saturday night, and coming back on. I know everyone just keeps reaching out asking us to come on. So I love broadcasting. I do. I do still write. You go to the PhoenixEnigma.com. Everything's free. There's no paywall. You can go on my Patreon and become a member if you want, and help us out a little bit there as well. But other than that, we're just plugging along on the farm here, man. I'm sitting on information, and we got a lot about Isaac Kappy still, and a lot about how that ties in to characters that were involved with Isaac that are also involved with Charlie.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about that on the show tonight. I don't want to get into that right now.
No, of course. There's so much more to go, right? Plus,
there's a lot.
You need some time to sit down with these files and find a show that you can do on another fucking level, because
I will be searching these files.
Such a peek at the first steps to seeing who the Beyonders are. Yeah. And we need to be better than the Beyonders. Because God else, while they're logging out, I'm saying goodbye here. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. Thank you, everybody who participated in the chat room. And everybody have a killer night. And I'm going to try and bang out Babylonian Talmud sometime tomorrow afternoon.